I've got my Instagram. I wrote my goals down.
Posted it.
Yeah, posted it to keep myself accountable.
Love that.
And legit, man, just by doing that, almost all of them fucking came true, man.
Really?
Yeah, like radio, TV, fucking like sell out a theatre. Like everything I wrote down has come to fruition.
Welcome to Moral of the Story, a podcast where everyday people talk about their real life experiences.
We live?
Yep.
I'm feeling pretty good right now. Yeah, cause everything I've ever wanted is within my reach. But I've got to be impeccable whenever I speak.
Delby, man, thanks for joining us, man. The reason why you're here is because, I actually came to one of your shows in Fringe.
Yeah.
And
it was how to come out of the closet without offending your parents.
Yeah,
that show?
Like, the other one, the other one about being single. But I thought I actually loved the set. I thought it was amazing. You're being able to rhyme on the fly like that. I was so impressed by it. And, and you mentioned in there that you were a teacher.
Yeah.
And have now come to comedy full time.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a really interesting, path you've decided to take.
Yeah.
And I think so many people don't do that sort of stuff. And maybe they have a passion for something and are maybe too afraid. Yeah. The fear factor gets in the way and, you end up living in regret. So I'm hoping out of this conversation we can unpack that and really help other people maybe take that leap of faith that you took. So to kick things off, I reckon, where does teaching start?
So
straight after high school sort of thing?
Yeah, so I was a pretty good student. I had ADHD. I didn't know. So because my grades were good, I didn't realize that I was fucking like a mosquito, Like if I got something that was easy, then I'd just start fucking around, making people laugh, literally, in class. But because my grades backed it up, they never were like, oh, this guy's got an attention problem. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I cruised through school. I finished my ATAR with actually it's TEE back then, but it's called ATAR now. I got a 94.25, which is a pretty solid score.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
At 17, you're expected to know what you want to do straight away. You got to pick your fucking subjects at can we swear on this?
Yeah.
Got to pick your subjects when you're 16 to lead into 17 to lead into when you're 18, which is bullshit.
Yeah, no.
No one knows what they want to do. I reckon with school, you should have to leave, go work somewhere, go do something for a year before uni.
Even longer.
Yeah.
Even
go
longer.
get some real life experience, right? But I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was like, well, fuck man, I got a good score. I don't want to waste this score. But all the shit that was a high score was for me, it was a bit boring.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll try and make money, right? So I did business and commerce. So commerce and law, business law, and legit would fall asleep in the lectures. And it was, I'd never failed anything in my life.
Yeah.
I failed the business module or marketing module, one of them. I woke up to a phone call. They're like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in bed. They're like, you've got a sup exam. I'm like, well, what's a sup exam? They're like, you didn't pass. And I'm like, shit, I was supposed to chill. I just assumed I was going to pass, right?
Yeah, right.
And then I was like, when I was in marketing or business, one of the lectures, I literally fell asleep, hit my head on the desk, stopped the whole theatre. Everyone's looked at me. I'm like, you're right. I'm like, yeah, I need to quit, right?
Yeah,
I just was like, what am I doing? Fuck this. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, I'll go travel for a bit because my cousins used to come over from England and live with us.
Yeah.
So then I went when I was 18 by myself to England and stayed in Middlesbrough, which is where my mum's family's from. Right. I landed there. I had fucking $4,000. I almost didn't get in the
18?
country. Yeah, so I was working at Dome from when I was 13, just saving.
Yeah, dope.
Saving bank, right? But even that $4,000 wasn't really mine. Mum put some extra into my account because I had a 3-month ticket.
Yeah.
So I had to prove that I could support myself when I was there. And they weren't going to let me in the country. They were you're lucky you showed us your savings, otherwise it would have turned you around.
Yeah.
So I'm there and as I land, I go to my cousin's house in Grangetown, which is if you think if Balga and Mirrabooka had a baby, right? And that baby fucked Armidale and Thornley, that's Grangetown, man.
Yeah, right.
So I'm watching Ross Kemp, he does Ross Kemp on Gans, he does top 10 worst place in England. Grangetown was number 3.
Really?
I was on holiday there, man. And it's like the 3rd worst place in England. But the week before I got there, like someone got held down and had their Achilles tendon slit over a drug debt, you know? Like all crazy shit.
Oh, wow.
So after about a month there, couldn't talk to any girl because all the guys would fucking flog me. I was the only Aussie. Yeah, right. So really easy to identify. Yeah. And if I had any kind of chat to a girl, the blokes would want to fucking flog me. So after a month, I was like, I need a bail. And I didn't realise at 18 how close like England was to Amsterdam and Germany and everything. And just by chance, I saw flights for like $30.
Cheap, yeah.
And then I had a look at the map because I didn't do geography in high school. I was like, oh shit, like Amsterdam's there. Oh, what the fuck? Germany's there. Oh, what the hell? Czech Republic. So then I did a bit of Googling and I just went over by myself and backpacked through.
All throughout Europe?
Yeah. So it was wicked. Really, really cool. But I don't remember fucking much. I just remember it being really awesome. I loved it. I was a bit of a nerd.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah.
All by yourself at 18?
Solo. Yeah.
Far out.
So it was cool though. Like everywhere you met like-minded people. And, you know, I never really drank because I was trying to play AFL from when I was sort of 15. I used to play like at a super high level. Like Buddy Franklin was in my team and
actually,
so all these like guns. Then my body fell apart and it was just trash. I never did drugs, never drank, nothing. I was like straighty 180.
Yeah, okay.
I'd drink maybe like twice a year, like New Year's and a straight day and Wanneroo show.
Yeah, wow.
Like when I was like 15 or 16 and maybe not even 15, like 16, 17.
Yeah.
And then going to Europe, sort of got on the piss, which was fun.
Just had a blast in Europe.
Yeah.
Like, when did you make that? When did you come back and kind of think, all right, I need to sort something out here?
Came back for like Christmas. I think it was like a day before Christmas or 2 days before Chrissy. And then I still didn't know what I wanted to do, man. So I was like, maybe I'll do like chiropractic, right? So my mum worked for a chiropractor all from when I was 10 till when I was like, 18, which is why I reckon my back's fucked. But it's a whole different story. Like I've had 5 back surgeries, man.
Far out.
Yeah, it's not good. So I'm like, what should I do? Then I applied for biomedical science. I got into biomed because I was going to backdoor into chiro through that. So that was UWA. And like hated that. I would go to sleep every night with like butterflies and knots in my stomach, just going, you're doing the wrong thing. Yeah. But I always had that like ego problem. Like I loved phys ed, I loved acting, I loved drama. Yeah. I never got to do drama in high school after year 10 because it clashed with chemistry, and chemistry was a prereq for more stuff. Okay. So I'm trying to plan, like keep all my doors open. You know?
Yeah.
Well, really, I should have just listened to what I fucking loved and just done it.
From the start.
Yeah, from the start. But, you know, you've got those expectations. You're 17. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Yeah. But the whole time, like I loved drama. I loved acting. I loved sport. Yeah. But I thought that, you know, as a phys ed or a drama teacher, it'd be shit. Yeah. You know, you got like no respect. You got like...
Kids just want to come in, muck around.
Yeah, like, and it's not looked like well upon in society. I was like, you know, fuck that. But then after going to sleep every night with that like knot in my stomach, I was like, look, I just need to fucking just do it. I go, I don't give a fuck if I don't get paid enough or if it's not a high paying job, I'll be the best at it. Yeah. So I was like, I'll just do it because I love it. And because there wasn't many jobs as a phys ed teacher, super competitive. So, or drama teacher. So I was like, fuck it. If I'm the best, then I'll get employed. Yeah. So I was like, I went in with that mentality. I was like, I'm just going to follow my heart, follow my gut, and just be the best at it. So I don't know how, but I got into drama mid-year, no audition, like nothing. They just let me in, which is like unheard of. Yeah. I just applied and mid-year they let me in. I was like sick. Yeah. And then I loved it, man. I did drama as my major, phys ed as my minor. Yeah. And it was dope. Like going to uni for drama was sick. I was like
having fun every day.
There was 3 dudes in my class.
And the rest of the girls.
30 chicks. Like it was awesome.
Yeah, right.
But the actual learning and doing was awesome. It was fun, man. You know. So
what do you think you learned from drama? Like, is it like when I did drama in high school, I hated it.
Yeah.
I'm not that sort of personality. I feel like I just can't be an actor. That's just not in my nature. But I feel like, you know, doing that sort of thing you've probably learned a lot about yourself.
It's scratched an itch for me, bro. Like the ADD thing where I need that attention.
Yeah.
When I was doing drama, that was like my time.
It's like a release?
Yeah.
That was like a therapeutic thing?
Almost?
More
More just like I got what I needed, which was I wanted the attention.
Yeah.
So I'm up there making people laugh, being funny.
Yeah.
Could do accents, like write plays, make them stupid, like
Yeah.
some of the best fun ever.
Yeah,
You know?
okay.
So, and I've only discovered later in life that what I was actually craving was what I get from stand-up,
Right.
which is I've got the attention, but I'm making people laugh, which is what I was trying to do in drama.
The whole time.
The whole
time
time.
you were trying to do that, and then comedy was there.
Yeah, but I didn't really know. Like, actually, I lie. My mum was engaged to a stand-up comic when she was 10. But I'd never go to his gigs or anything like that. But he lived with us for like 2 years. So like, I knew about stand-up comedy from a young age. When I was 10, I went to Melbourne Comedy Fest and saw Chris Franklin do I'm a bloke, I'm a yobbo. My best mate's name is Robbo. Do you guys know that song?
I feel like...
It's the piss take of Natalie Imbruglia. So,
Oh, man, I'm too young for this. I think.
Check that out. It was a trip, man, because when I started doing comedy, he was the MC. So I saw him when I was 10. And he was here. And now I've gigged with him and shit. And it's like, it's full fucking...
Yeah, come full circle.
Yeah.
Kind of like tick the box,
Yeah.
dream come true sort of thing.
Yeah, man. So the drama thing was dope. But then, like, when I went on prac, I was like, this is fucked. Like, looking after kids running in and out of the curtain, like, it was... And I had a massive chunk of knowledge missing because of all the all the years I'd missed at school. So everyone else knew all about, like, Stanislavski and all these fucking, like, theorists. And I'm just like...
Yeah.
So... And I really, like, didn't enjoy my first prac, but I loved teaching the sport side of things. So I flipped my degree. So I spent 6.5 years at uni when really, you know, I should have done 4. But and then went phys ed major, drama minor. Did my first gig teaching science for a year, and it was dope. So from then, I did my ATAR switch course so I could teach ATAR chemistry.
Yeah.
Taught special needs basically my whole career until the last year. They did 10 years of science teaching.
Special needs. You taught.
Yeah.
When was that? Sorry, when did you start teaching special needs?
Basically, as soon as I was employed, because I was good with the kids, they would give me all the hard classes, and the better teacher you are, the harder classes you get, because there's very little accountability in the education department.
Yeah.
So if you're a teacher that can't handle shit, they give you easy classes. It's fucked. It's the worst system.
That is weird.
It sucks. So basically, I found a niche and a specialty, which was working with the kids in the special needs class. So not like ed support, which is like diagnosed kids with funding. I would get the kids that had no funding, but would have autism without diagnosis, or fetal alcohol syndrome, or dyslexia, or oppositional defiance disorder, or they had no mum and dad at home and they were living in custody. So all these kids that fell through the cracks where there was no funding, they'd be in Mr. D's class. So I'd get them. And it was wicked fun. It was really tough, but because it's all about building relationships, like it was awesome. But it was also my door to permanency as well.
Okay.
So to be a permanent teacher is like pretty hard.
Yeah.
Because I had like this specialty of dealing with the kids that were struggling, and I learned all like the programs on how to teach them. Like we had this maths program that I was the specialist at, even though I was trained in drama, phys ed, and you know.
Yeah, you seem like
science.
an all-rounder sort of teacher, bro.
I ended up being. Yeah.
You could have done any sort of thing, because you had the physical ability, you had, you know, the smarts, and then you have the kind of social intelligence to be able to relate to kids as well.
I mean, teaching kids is not hard. My number one rule is just be cool, man. If you can be cool, like it's hard because some people don't know how to be cool. Like they're in there for a different.
That's why I'm laughing. Yeah,
they're in there for a different reason. They're in there because they've failed at whatever job they want, and teaching was a backup, or they want that power struggle where they don't want that relationship. So if you don't like kids, why the fuck teach, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. So I had all that.
I reckon you would have been the best teacher, honestly. When I heard you say that in your set, I was like, I wish that guy was my science teacher.
Yeah, well, it depends what you like as a student, man. Even like, I'm fair, but I'm firm.
Yeah.
Like
that's your like kind of.
You gotta have boundaries, man.
Your strategies.
Yeah. But I sucked when I first started.
Yeah.
Like I sucked.
So you had to kind of stumble your way through that.
Well, you do all this training. So CMS, which is classroom management strategies, is like the most important thing. Anyone that's studying teaching, anyone that's out there, take that course. Changed my life, man.
Really?
Yeah, because it stops you blaming the kids and you look inwards and you're like, why are they doing this? It's because what I'm doing is trash.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck would want to copy notes or write? Who would want to do what I'm doing? Not me. If I don't want to do it, why would they? And then why would I get mad at them if what I'm giving them is shit? Yeah. So
it's a weird, like the logic behind it is a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what was what did you take from that teaching experience?
Well, you're in front of a class.
Yeah.
For 5 different classes every day. So you're in front of an audience. So straight away, you're talking to 30 people at once.
Yeah.
You're dealing with hecklers, right?
See where this is going?
Yeah. So
see where this is going.
all the kids are hecklers.
Yeah.
I got awesome stories. You know, I was a positive role model, which was a side. I didn't go in there to be a positive role model.
Yeah.
But as a side effect, like, you know, I care about the kids, and I actually did care about the kids, and they can tell the teachers that do care and the teachers that don't. And it was fun, man. It's fucking awesome. Like, teaching's wicked fun. Every kid wants to learn. Like, even the shit kids
still want to learn.
they still want to learn. Like, the only reason they're acting out is because they don't get it. No one likes feeling dumb.
Yeah.
So my number one rule after Be Cool is make them feel smart. If you can make anyone feel smart, they don't have to like you, but they'll respect you. And if they respect you and they come to your class and they feel smart when they leave, then you bring value to their life.
Yeah.
And if you bring value, then they all of a sudden they're not going to fuck around because they feel smart. And even if they do fuck around, they want to be in the classroom. So you can be like, hey, man, I know why you're doing this. Do you need help? Show you what. And then once you show them attention, which is what they want, number one, then that goes away.
Yeah.
So everyone that struggles with kids is just not meeting their needs.
I love how you put it. Like you're relating it back to comedy. Like you got your hecklers, you got, you know, a crowd, an audience.
Yeah.
And you're up there, you're speaking.
Crowd work. Positioning.
Everything.
Yeah.
Do you have an example of like maybe a kid that's acting out and how you would actually, like maybe a story of a kid that actually is like maybe seen as, I don't know, like a lost child that always causing trouble. Yeah. Like, do you have a story of
I got
like
30 stories, man, every year. That's my whole class.
Yeah, right.
Literally. It's like, but it's weird because I don't, like, the ones that I did see were the ones that weren't in that special needs class, but those kids that, for other teachers, I'd hear, I'll just use a fake, like, Jeff's he's a little bitch, like, little dick, he fucking never listens. And then you just think, well, I know why he doesn't listen. It's because you're not bringing any value. You're being rude. You're being disrespectful. As soon as he walks in, you think he's going to be a dick.
Yeah.
So my strategy was always just like, whatever happened that day, you leave it behind because they leave it behind.
Yeah.
Fresh day. You don't go, he's going to be a dick.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're fucked. But lost cause, I got one on film. I was training, so they used me to train other teachers. And they use it at the union, this video, with my class. So I'm teaching the class. I've got like 8 teachers at the back watching. I got my principal in. I got the person running the course.
That's a bit of pressure.
Yeah. Right. But I love it, man, because it's like I've got my tool belt of all these different strategies.
Yeah.
So you build up over time, like your teaching technique, all this shit. That's like teacher jargon. But I had this kid, actually I can't say his name, but he was from a family of like 8. He didn't really have brekkie too much. You could see he really liked learning when he got it, but he would always just blow up.
Right.
So I'm filming, everything's going great.
Yeah.
And he opens the door and he sees the camera and he goes, oh, fuck this shit. I'm not getting fucking filmed. You fuck your hole. And just walked out. And I was like, all right, guys, I'm just going to go speak to blank for a second.
Yeah.
So I went out. I was like, what's going on, man? He goes, nah, fuck this. No one's filming me. Fuck this. I'm like, hey, man, you don't have to be filmed. You know, if you don't want to be filmed, all good. Remember all that good work we did? We're just going to come in. You can sit at the back. He's like, oh, no, I don't want to fucking do that. I was like, hey, bro, like, I'm getting filmed here. This is really going to help me out. You know, if you help me, like I help you. Like I go, remember that time I did this for you? You know, remember that time I did this? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, all right, well, come in. So
you talk to him like a mate.
Yeah, legit. You don't talk to him like a piece of
like
shit.
a teacher.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I say like, hey, man, listen, dude, you know. And then he went to the back and I was like, hey, can you sit here? I sat him with the principal. I was like, can you explain to I won't say my principal's name. Can you explain to the principal what we were doing? So he's like, oh, yeah, we're done that. And then I just left him there because I had 8 teachers. Why would I not use them and try and have him up the front? So I was like, yeah, in you go. And then he stayed for the whole lesson.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's one. But he was a real struggle, man.
Yeah.
He was like my hardest kid because he would just go, nah, fuck this, I'm gone, and then bail. And if he wants to leave, I just go, all right, no worries, man. Like number one thing is you always go, hey, if you choose to leave, it's fine, man, it's your choice. But just know later on, I'll have to follow it up.
Yeah, okay.
And that's it. Other teachers are like, you're not going there. Yeah, I fucking am.
Yeah.
And then it blows up. Like, what's the point?
Right.
So, yeah, this is all like teacher strategy that we're going into now. So
but I think those sort of things you can translate to so many different areas of life. Like,
mate, yeah. 100%.
I mean, I still feel like some adults are kids these days.
Adults
honestly.
are kids, bro. They are. They're just kids that are that don't have a parent.
Yeah.
And other teachers don't realize they're acting like a fucking kid. Like they're engaging these guys. Yeah. Like, grow up. Yeah. You have to remember you're the adult. Yeah. Whatever they say, they're a kid. You got to act like an adult.
Yeah.
Very rarely, very, very rarely I would never yell. Yeah. Ever. There's only like one time I can remember, and it's because he fucking really
you got under your skin.
Oh man, it was just fucking so annoying because I was so good to this guy, and he just ripped up his sheet of paper in front of me. I'm not doing it, and I was like, yeah, you will. And he's like, no, I'm not fucking doing it.
And you just cracked.
I just said, well, I'll call. I said, you're acting like a baby, which I shouldn't have said. Because you're acting like a baby, and then I was like, no, you are. And this was like 5 years ago. And then he's like, well, I'm not doing it. Ripped his sheet up. And I don't know why, but that was just like, this dude. I said, all right, no worries. I'm calling Nan. He's like, don't call Nan. Starts crying. I was like, well, what do you expect, man? Don't rip your sheet up. He's like, she already thinks I'm dumb. I'm like, well, don't act like this. And then I had to like calm down. So I learned from that, and I never again, if a kid's wound up just like an adult, if you match the energy, the only place they've got to go is here. And when you're here, where do you go? Nowhere, man. You can't go any higher. So if you just go, no worries, we'll talk about this when you're calm. They'll go, I don't want to fucking talk about it. So that's cool. No worries. And then go catch them. My strategy was I'd pull them out of class that they didn't like. So if they had English or math, and math, I'd like find when I had my break, and I'd go grab them. Can I just grab, old mate? And then I'd be like, hey, I took you out of maths because I know you don't like it. Do you want to hang out with me for 20 minutes as we talk about it? Yeah. And then they're like, oh, that's sick. He's done me a solid. So
I would have loved to have you as a teacher, bro. You don't get many teachers that you can relate to, hey?
Nah, man. It's always the phazetas.
Yeah,
usually.
Exactly. Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
Because guys just want to do sports stuff. Like, they just want to do the fun stuff.
And they're usually cool. Right? Most people that play sport, they've grown up in a team environment. It's like
they get it.
They're cool. Maths teachers, on the other hand, a lot of them haven't. But that said, fucking heaps of my maths teachers are actually pretty cool.
You do get the odd one that's like kind of the nerdy cool guy.
Or girl, but the people, when you think your teacher's a nerdy cool guy, it's because you respect them because they make you feel smart, or you enjoy their lesson because he's nerdy but he loves his subject, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm into it.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Anyway. I would agree with that.
And most maths teachers now are phys ed teachers because there's no jobs. So
right,
so it's like then
So what about comedy? When did that? When did that kind of like?
So it doesn't happen overnight. So like what you saw.
Can you bring the mic down a little bit so I can see your pretty face?
Yes, beautiful. So every overnight success is not an overnight success, and I'm not a success yet. So I'm like still well below where I need to be. So what you guys saw, I'm still like, I wasn't happy with that. Like I just had the culmination at Perth Comedy Fest of the show you guys watched. And it's like 50 times better than what you saw. I was super happy with, like, one of the best shows I've ever done. But that was like, 8 years of, well, actually, I'd say like 4 or 5 years of grinding, which is fuck all in the comedy world. But to get into comedy, I went traveling for a second time. So when I finished uni, I went to Vancouver and England and the Greek Islands and lived there and worked there and went to Vancouver, and I saw a stand-up show. I was like, man, this is fucking sick. Like, and this girl that I met over there, she thought I was really funny, and she was like, you should do stand-up. And no one had really said that before because until like I traveled that second time, I didn't really know who I was. I didn't know sort of like
Just figuring things out.
yeah, what I believed in, what I stood for, and I kind of like really figured out who I was as a person. And she was like, "You should do comedy." I was like, "Oh, look, I'd love to. I don't know, I don't know." She's like, "You're really funny." I was like, "Okay." When I got home, I was telling all these stories from traveling, and people like pissing themselves, and I'd tell stories about my nonna, and everyone would laugh. So the boys put my name down for an open mic night at Shapiro's, which is the Brisbane hotel, which they don't run anymore, which is a shame because that's created some of the best comics in Perth.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, no worries. Like, I got the personality where I wasn't worried, I wasn't stressed. I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll do it.
Is this before your drummer experience?
So
Like
this was after I finished uni.
after uni.
I went traveling, came back.
Right, okay.
So I think I was like 24.
So you hadn't gone down the teacher path yet?
I graduated as a teacher.
Okay.
And then fucked off and then came back.
Right, okay.
So I left like, as soon as I graduated, I left, which was like July.
Yeah.
2006, like 2012 maybe, I think.
Okay.
And then came back 9 months later. No kid or anything, just was 9 months. And then, they put my name down for a stand-up night, and I know nothing. I didn't really know about punchlines or like crowd. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
But I just did 5 minutes of stories about my nonna, stories about what happened on Prac.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. And Bitter came. Your cousin was there for the first one. Like 35 people came, which was sick because that's more than I can get now.
Yeah.
To my first one. And I did pretty well. And as soon as I finished my set, everyone left. Like everyone walked out. So there's heaps more comics to come.
Right.
So there was a mass exodus and they all came to like congratulate me in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was good, but it's bad etiquette.
Right.
So the next guy that came on, Gerard Moroney, who's still around, he's a different cat, man. He's very different. Yeah. He saw me like a week later at a gig, and I thought that Gerard, I thought there was something up with Gerard. And he was like, "Hey, man, after the gig you did, everyone left." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. Like, I didn't know they were going to do that." He goes, "Nah, like, everyone left." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, bro. Like, it was my first time." Everyone came around. He goes, "No, really put me off. Really put me off." And I was like, "Okay." And then he goes, "Yeah, like, you think you're real funny, but you're just a dumb cunt." And I was, in my head, I'm like, am I going to have to, like,
square up,
bash this guy who's not all there, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, in this real weird moment, and I just went, all right, man, no worries. But as I've got to know him, he didn't mean it that way. He's just saying, as a comic, you think you're funny, but you're not. You're just a dumb cunt.
Yeah, okay.
So I had that experience, and it went well, right? So I was like...
Is that when you first thought to yourself, oh, I could do this?
No.
So
No.
Okay, it's not there
So
yet.
the first one, I'm just like...
You just got up there.
I just got up, did it. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I went and did another one, which was Gong Show, which is where, like, if you shit, they put their paddle up. So back then it was an elephant and wheelbarrow, and they were like, if you got 3 paddles, then you got gonged off, and that's your time. You have to try and make, I think it was 5 minutes back then. You have to try and make it to 5. I did it, and I made it, I think, as well. I think I just made it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Then I did, like, maybe 2 or 3 more gigs. I entered Raw. No, actually, no, I didn't. I did 2 or 3 more gigs. Then I got booked. So I got booked at Wanneroo Footy Club, which was where I used to play footy.
Yeah.
And I'm like 7 gigs into my comedy, which is not a career.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This was spaced out over 6 months. So anyone that starts open mic comedy, if you go on once a month, you're not a comedian. Yeah, even once a week, you're not really a comic. You need to be like 2-3 times up working on your shit.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that mentality. I was like once every 4 weeks. Plus it was hard to get spots.
Yeah.
So whenever you could get a spot. And the comedy etiquette is you do your time and you get off, right? Because if you do more over your time, then that has a pass-on effect to later on. If someone's paying a headline $600 and they're not on until half an hour, then they get less time. It's all fucked. It's really rude, really disrespectful.
Okay.
But the guy that booked me was like, hey, do whatever you want, if you're killing it, do whatever. So I think I was meant to do 10, which is crazy. after 8 gigs. No one has 10 minutes after 8 gigs. And I was doing really well. Everyone was bombing before me. Bomb, like eating a bag of dicks. And I went up and I did really, really well because I knew a few of the guys. They were laughing at my shit. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, I'm doing really well here. I'll do more so it's better for the people after me so the crowd's up and about.
Yeah.
So pure intentions.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this will be sick. Like, I'm killing it. So I did like 18 minutes maybe, which is fucking unheard of when you're supposed to do 5 or 10.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I come off buzzing. I'm like, oh, I just killed it. And then this other chick who I won't name, she's like, can I talk to you? She gets me outside and she's like, I'm not going on now. You went way over your time. You're fucking drunk on stage. Who's your favourite comedian? I'm like, oh, what? Like, I thought I was doing the right thing. She's like, who's your favourite comic? I was like, Arj Barker. She's like, he would never get drunk on stage. I'm thinking, he's stoned out of his head on stage. But I'm like, oh, like, she's like, you did way over your time. Now I caught a bus to be here and I'm not going to go on. And in my head, legit, I was like, everyone's got to 11 o'clock, which is from 7 to 11, 4 hours of comedy is like, it's so dumb. It's way too long. But in my head, I really thought, everyone's got heaps of time. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
She's berating me, man. I feel like a piece of shit because I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was doing the right thing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
She's like, you should know by now. I'm like, I'm pretty fresh, you know? And I looked down and she had me on loudspeaker and I saw the person's name who was a room booker. So they book the gigs at, I won't say where, but like they book rooms. And I was like really, really like distraught, like upset that I've ruined this person's night when I thought I'm apologising. I'm so sorry. And I was like, is that? And I named the person that was a room booker. She's like, oh, no, he doesn't even know who you are. Hey, do you know who he is? He's like, no. Then I'm like, why the fuck have you got me on loudspeaker? Because she was saying, you went over your time, like setting me up, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, that's so shit by you. I'm nearly in tears here, apologising to you.
Just
and you're
making
fucking
matters
trying to
worse.
set me up, you know? And I'm like, that's the worst. And she's like, oh, let's just keep this between us. I was like, oh, okay. And I like hugged it out. Anyway, like later on, I see people posting shit. How was Delby's Type 5? And I was like, fuck this bitch, man. Like, I don't need this shit.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this scene.
Yeah.
All these fucking little bitches.
So you were dirty at comedy?
I quit, man.
You quit?
Yeah, I was like, after that, fuck this noise, man.
Yeah,
Scene
right.
was full of fucking bitches, like not women bitches, like little bitches, man. Like people that are just fucking petty, just bitching about each other. There was no real like positivity, and it was just like it was shit, bro.
Yeah.
So I bailed. I was like, I don't need this shit.
Yeah.
So that was like maybe 8 or 9 years ago. So while I was teaching, right?
And what brought you back?
Rapping.
Rap?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I've seen the skill, man. I've seen the skill that you have.
So, yeah,
just becoming what was the one that we saw is you got girls to hold up something from their purse.
Oh, yes, the guys versus girls,
Yeah.
handbag versus purse.
And then you turned it into a song.
Yeah.
Right, I've been telling all my cousins about it.
Yeah,
and
sick. Well, whatever you're doing Saturday night, come to Who's Rhyme, because that's what it's from.
Who's Rhyme?
Who's Rhyme.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 2 shows, man. One's free, 5:30 at Belmont. As part of Belmont Festival. It's me and Mac Shane. I don't know if you know Mac Shane. He's like insane freestyler.
Yeah.
And we're doing Kingsley Footy Club. We're headlining there. So if you want something closer to home.
All right.
It's like 50, it's sick. So it's
100%,
all
man.
that. So I noticed that because that's how we start the show.
Yeah.
People hold shit up. And as I'm rapping, I'm like, guys just have weird shit in their wallet. Girls have the craziest shit. Like the most retarded shit that you never fucking would think.
She held off a USB.
Well, there you go. Like no,
I was like, why do you have a USB in your purse?
Yeah, people, oh, man, they have the weirdest shit that it's like literally like on stage. I say it's like Doctor Strange's instead of the metaverse, or it's the meta purse, man. Like they reach in and pull shit out.
Yeah.
Anything I wanted.
Yeah. So yeah, what brought you back to comedy?
So I
rap.
learned freestyle was like a guy at my school. There was a DJ at Wanneroo when I was like 15. I hadn't watched 8 Mile or anything. I think it had just come out. And this guy was like, oh, you want a battle, man? I was like, what, cunt? He's like, you want a battle? I'm like, what? He's like, I go, what's a battle? He goes, well, there's a DJ and he's going to put music and you say words that rhyme about me and I say words that rhyme about you. That's a battle. I was like, yeah, all right, man. Like, I'll battle. So the whole school's watching, man, in the gym. Whole school, like fucking 500 kids. And he's like, full gangster, like, yo, I got the $1 million cars, got the $1 million cars.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, you don't. Look at you. You wear FUBU and you're from Wanneroo. And I just started roasting like, you play soccer, I'll kick you like a quokka. And everyone's like, oh. And I think I got like, fuck, back then, not pretty PC. I was like, you're a fucking faggot. You play fucking soccer, yeah? And it blew up. And then like everyone at the school's like, the next day, you're that rapper guy. I'm like, what? So I learned that this thing, freestyle. So I started like just practicing.
Yeah.
And then never stopped. And it was like, it became sort of a party trick as I got older.
Freestyling was like the party trick that you play. So it was always kind of with you in high school and even through adulthood. And
Yeah. So I guess after watching 8 Mile, I was like, oh, they're sick. I get it now, you know. So I'd when we would drink, I'd rap, and it would always be like pretty like at festivals when I was sober, I'd rap, you know. And then they needed a comedian that could rap for Comedians vs. Rappers. Okay. Which is this show that's awesome now.
It's we were supposed to go to that one, but it was sold out.
Yeah, it's wicked. It's awesome fun. Which is literally, it's a team of comedians versus a team of rappers. It's basically Wild 'N Out.
Yeah.
It is Wild 'N Out. They just ripped the ideas from Wild 'N Out, right? So I was like, it was during Fringe, and I was like, yeah, someone hit me up. They're like, oh, they're looking for someone that can freestyle. And they knew that I did like 5 minutes of comedy. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Went out, did like the comedy at the start, did the rap, fucking loved it again. Like found, I was like, this is it, man.
Yeah.
This is the jam. It was so fun. Did every show. Then I went to sleep one night and like I couldn't get out of my head that girls got drunk in 3 phases, and I still do this routine to this day when I MC weddings and shit. I was like, man, girls. And I woke up at 2 a.m. and I wrote this set on my computer about girls getting drunk and how people dance and their dance face. It pisses me off when they do like a dance face. And your dance face is like your fuck face. So imagine, you know, fucking someone and then they do their dance face. And, you know, kids, like, mum dances how she learnt, like the 80s. Like, what's going to happen when the kids work up? Like, come and twerk with your mother. Like, so I had this whole set and I got on stage and I did Raw and I missed out, and then I got a wild card, and I won the wild card round with Cam McLaren, who we do shows together now, and we made it to the state final. So like my 9th gig ever was at His Majesty's Theatre in their city. Yep. So like 1,000 people, and there's still a few comics like Rory Lowe, Matt Storer, me, Cam, Dave Tuffley, I think, and a few others are still around from that. Yeah. I was like sick. So then I started doing comedy once a month. You know, go in and then do comedy. And I never rapped. I never did my freestyle yet. Yeah. Then Raw came around again. And I did it, and I made the state final again. So I was like, fuck, like maybe
just kept going after that.
Yeah, maybe I'm good at this. Yeah. And then I did Fringe. I did none of that, which was about being a wog. And then I incorporated freestyle into that, just one freestyle song. And I did none of that again, none of this. And then it worked into 30 years single. I did that for 3 years, and now I'm at 33 years single. And it takes more freestyle and learnt the craft, man.
Yeah, sick. So I love that. I love how you like. What I'm going back to is like the earlier years where you know you're kind of trying to find what it is that really got you going. Yeah, you thought drama, you thought teaching. You know, you had all this intellect and all this, and you're just trying to figure it out. Yeah. I just love that how you've stayed with it and. You know, through all of this, you know, I reckon, look at the leap you've made. Yeah. And I really appreciate that because I know there's a lot of people that just don't make that leap and they have all this hidden talent that they don't really express. Yeah. And I think guys like you embody that, like having that perseverance to really go after it.
It's that, and it's also learning how to monetize your passion. True. Because if I had to quit when I started doing comedy, I'd fucking be on JobKeeper. So I was teaching, so I had a secure job, and then I'd go out and gig at night. So when I decided, I wrote my goals down on my Instagram. You can probably check it out after the show. I've got my Instagram. I wrote my goals down.
Posted it?
Yeah, posted it to keep myself accountable.
Love that.
And legit, man, just by doing that, almost all of them fucking came true, man.
Really?
Yeah, like radio, TV, fucking... like sell out a theatre, like everything I wrote down has come to fruition.
Wow.
Make 200 grand in a year. Did that this year, this financial year, from comedy and weddings.
Wow.
Right. So I was like, I'm going to do this. But you can't just go, right, I'm going to be a rapper and quit teaching.
Yeah.
Right. So like it was an apprenticeship. Fringe, the first year I made like $4,000 from my show. Then the next year I made like 8. And then as I got better, my ticket prices went up, and then I made 10 grand, and then I made 17, and then it was 30. And then like this last financial year, I smashed a ton of shows, made a ton at Fringe, started getting paid, because you don't get paid as a comedian straight away. You got to fucking
work up to that.
Bro, you got to drive to bumfuck nowhere. You got to do it all for free.
Yeah.
You know, some comics now have it too good. They start getting paid too early. So I would do as much gigs as I could for free, because I knew that the end point was where I'm at now. Yeah. And I've still got fucking ages to go. Yeah. You know, but like to be paid for a gig was like a huge thing for me. You know, I still haven't headlined the Comedy Lounge, which is a massive goal of mine. So I'm going to be headlining in Adelaide before I headline here. So I just got just like this week, got booked for Adelaide to headline.
Damn.
So I still haven't booked my own fucking town yet.
Own city, yeah. Right? They'll come. Put it on your Instagram.
Yeah. So like little by little, and then like being a marriage celebrant as well, because I would MC weddings. My mate was like, "Do you want to marry us?" And I looked at that, and that is that whole drama thing again. It's like stand up, but it's using my writing. Because in
a different way, yeah.
I ducked my school at English after being told I should never do TE and I wasn't going to make it. So that was like a fuck you. Like and I topped my school, which was dope. And then now I use that with comedy and marrying people standing in front of a crowd as well. So it's sick.
Right.
Yeah, but
that was just off a friend saying, "Hey, you should."
Yeah.
And he was like, "All right, I may as well."
Yeah, same sort of pathway. I did my first one for fuck all, the second one for fuck all, then like. I made it, I think, $600 at the time, and then did a few weddings the first year, and then the next year was kind of like double that. Then the third year was a bit more, and then this year I have done a wedding every weekend since grand final, and it's like a good sum of money. Yeah. I've just doubled my prices now, so we'll see what happens because... But it got to the point last year when I was teaching, I was having to take days off to do wedding stuff, comedy stuff.
Right.
And it was stopping me from doing...
But that's the point you want to get to, right?
Yeah.
Like for people listening, if they are thinking of doing something like that, you don't want to, like you said, just, all right, I'll retire this and start this and everything be fine. It doesn't work like that.
Nah.
But you gradually building up to that.
Yeah.
But this leads to my next question, is that a lot of people will start something and then quit.
That's right.
And have you ever gotten to a low point where you thought, I'll give that up? I think you might have touched on it before, but is there another one that kind of where you're in a point where you're like, oh, like I want to get here? Yeah. And you're kind of on the way to ticking off those goals? Yeah. Was there a point like in the midst of it all where you kind of just like,
Yeah, so yes. I'm still not where I want to be. So maybe when I get to that point, it will be. But on the way to where I am now, definitely ego got in the way where I'm like, I should be getting fucking headline spots. I should be getting MC spots. You know, I'm getting paid like it was $100. So I remember very specifically there was this gig I got booked for south of the river, and there was like 150 people there. And everyone paid $20 or $30 a head. So I was like, man, that's like $5,000. Yeah. I was a headline. I did 20 minutes and I got paid $150, I think. So I had this moment where I was like, man, I'm getting fucking like taken advantage of here. Right. So I spoke to a mentor, Janelle Koenig. She's done heaps with her comedy. And I said, hey, Janelle, like I did 20 minutes. They made this much money. I only got this much. I feel like I should fucking get more. Like I'm pissed off. Like I don't want to do these gigs if I'm getting like not paid for enough. And she gave me a massive reality check. She was like, because this was like maybe 3 years ago. She goes, you got no profile. So no radio, no TV, no nothing. No one knows who you are. You haven't got anything. They're taking all the risk by putting the gig on. You're getting paid $150 if one person or 200 people show up. So I'd never thought of it like that way before. So they have to pay me regardless of what shows up. Right. You know, she's like, you either say yes and you shut the fuck up and do it, or you say no thank you, and then you do your own gig, or you wait for a higher price. So that was a turning point where, because I was getting pissed off that I was getting paid fuck all for a big amount of time, and I felt like, you know, what's the point in doing this? I'm just getting fucking taken advantage of.
Yeah.
That was the wrong attitude to have, because from those gigs that I did, people saw me and ended up booking me for weddings or booking me for other gigs.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to get, because you're in front of 40 random people, and they might go, fuck, that guy was great.
You just need one person almost, like just one person to just believe in that skill set could honestly change your life. But yeah, I love that. Yeah, so that mentor, do you think that's critical to have somebody to kind of give you those hard reality checks?
I think you should find someone that is where you want to be. And, you know, we spoke about this on my podcast with Simeon Ray, who's like an investor. He was like, with my mentor, just go out and buy him coffee, just have a chat. You know, so I did that recently with a guy called Ben Darso. So I took him out, had a coffee, and just asked him, because I was like, I want to headline the lounge. Like, what do you think I need to do? And he's like, you know, keep doing what you're doing, because you're on the right path, obviously, like with hosting Sunday Singles. And he's like, keep your freestyle, because that makes you different. So there was a moment, actually, there was another moment where when I was freestyling, if it was a comedy comp, people would fucking be like, oh, he's cheating. Like, this is like, it's bullshit. He's just going to win. And I used to get like fucking like held down on myself. Like, oh, well, fuck, like, yeah, whatever. Like,
wait, comics would say that.
Yeah.
Because you had this extra skill set.
Yeah. And then, and I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, well, fuck you. Like, I'll just do stand up. But then the other more experienced comics were like, fuck these open micers, man. Fuck their like
opinions.
If they can do it, let them do it. They can't do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right, sick. Yeah. They're allowed to do it, but because they can't do it, they're salty, right? But get a mentor, because like Janelle's been amazing, especially when it comes to like what you should be earning, or if there's a gig, how much I should charge. Yeah. What I can improve on in my act, like when they see you, you know, what do you need to do to be better? Yeah. What habits do you need? I need to leave Perth, which is where I'm at now. Like, I'm going to gig in Sydney, and I'm going to Edinburgh in August.
Awesome.
So
that's dope.
Yeah,
man.
It's important to find someone that's where you are and ask them.
I 100% agree with that. Like, almost your network as well.
Yeah. Heaps of stuff is who you know as well.
Yeah.
Your skill will shine through. Your quality will shine through, but who you know, man. Like, for guests for our podcast, if we weren't mates with the Grim Reaper boys, there's no chance we'd have got Mitch Johnson on. Like, Australian cricket, like, there's all these little things that you just need to take advantage without taking the piss. Like, I gigged with Rove on Friday night, and I would have loved to say, hey, man, you want to come on my podcast?
Yeah.
But I just met him, so I'm not going to be like, you know.
Yeah.
So I let him see what I could do.
Yeah.
And then hopefully he liked it. And then next time I gig, and eventually I'll be like, hey, what do you reckon?
Yeah, that's another thing about mentors. Like, you don't just go out there and be like, hey, be my mentor.
You need, I mean, it's like teaching. You need to respect both ways.
Exactly.
So they need to, first of all, they need to actually think that you've got something.
Yeah.
Or be nice enough to want to give advice. So
it seems like you're in a pretty comfortable, I don't want to use the word comfortable actually, probably a position where you're ascending and you're really becoming confident in your abilities. Like, would you say that's pretty accurate right now?
Man, it depends on the context. If you give me a crowd of 200 people, I know that I'll go out
and smash it.
And I'll smash it. You give me a crowd of 15 people, fucking shit bricks, man.
Really?
Yeah. I just got offered a gig to go on the mines, right? It's 2 days. And I'm fucking like not confident at all. It's...
How many people?
Well, I don't know. It'll be as they finish shifts. I can't think of anything worse than getting up, trying to do stand-up, and they want me to do it in between the band, which is fucking horrific for stand-up.
Yeah. I used to DJ a bit.
Yeah.
And I've seen comedics come through.
Yeah.
And during an event.
Yeah.
And people were sitting down and eating. There'll be a band, there'll be music playing, and then there's this random comedic guy here, and then he's expected to make people laugh. And there was one event or gig I did, and I was like, I feel so bad for this guy.
That's the worst.
Because no one's listening to him.
Nah, it's the worst, bro. So you just got to, if you're getting paid well, you just shut up and do your time. But like, for me, like that confidence thing, like I have fear right now. If they choose me, I'm going to put my name down and put my price down to do it, because I want to be able to go do it and face that fear. but I'm shitting myself, man. I'm not confident.
Yeah, okay.
But the good thing is the fallback is my freestyle. I'm confident with that anywhere.
Right.
I can get up, freestyle, whatever, wherever. And I know that it's kind of impressive because not everyone can do it. But
yeah.
when you're standing there telling jokes, people know that you've prepared this. This is something you've worked on and wrote. And then you're presenting it like, hey, like, listen to this joke I made.
Yeah.
And if they hate it, then it's a weird judgment. Whereas if you're freestyling, people go, oh, he's just made that up. You fuck up.
Yeah.
You've got like, it's like a get out of jail free.
Yeah, you got a bit of leeway with the crowd there.
Yeah.
They kind of have a bit of respect for you almost before even trying.
Yeah.
I was telling Dill before, we think, like, I can't imagine myself ever getting on a stage in front of, and expecting, like, them to, like, for someone to sit in the crowd and expect the person on stage to make me laugh.
Yeah.
It's such a weird concept.
It's a weird concept, man.
Like, it's you, the mic, a stage, maybe some lights.
Yeah.
And maybe in front of you is like, you can barely see the face. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, you can't see
in most
much.
cases, and you're expected to make someone just laugh in their seat.
It's fucking weird, bro.
That's a weird concept.
It is. But at the same time, if someone's come to comedy, they want to laugh.
Yeah.
So you've got that. But if you suck, then...
Do you think if you're bombing, like, have you ever bombed and turned it around?
Never bomb.
You never bombed? Like, do you, like, you know how...
Yeah, look, for me, like I said, the freestyle was the turnaround. So if I'm bombing, I can turn around with a freestyle.
Yeah.
99% of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean...
So you feel like you can turn it around if you are bombing?
Look, I think from teaching, you get a good gauge of they're into this or they're not into this. I need to change track. Some guys will just stick at it and just bomb through.
Yeah.
I tend to bitch out. It's probably not the best move, but I'll bitch out and change track.
Right.
If I've got a new thing and it's not working well, this is what I used to do anyway. Now, pretty much, I don't give a fuck. It's a lot of ego, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm being paid and bombing, then that's a whole different thing. If it's just an open mic night and you're bombing,
okay,
like, who gives a fuck? Because it's free and you're just trying new shit. And it would be a waste of you going on stage to fall back to old stuff rather than try your new shit and eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah.
So, but when you are bombing, if it's not going well, just acknowledging, fuck, that was shit, that gets the laugh because it shows self-awareness. It's the people that don't acknowledge how shit they're doing that people are like, oh.
Yeah.
Or you can sometimes riff something like a freestyle, like a riff.
Yeah.
That makes it funnier.
Yeah, got you.
So
you do have to be so in tune to what, like, you have to read the crowd constantly and you're always adjusting on the fly. I feel like that's a better strategy to take anyway.
Yeah.
Being able to adjust on the fly. And that's a real skill, I think.
Yeah, well, I used to be fucking scared of it, man. So stand-up has got, like, so many different aspects. It's not just standing up telling a joke. Like, you've got facial expressions, characterization, setup, punch, pullback, reveal. You got all these different techniques, storytelling, all this shit. One's called, like, crowd work, which is where you don't have material. You start talking to the crowd, you try and make it funny.
Andrew Schultz does that a lot, hey?
Yeah.
A lot of crowd work.
Yeah, and Cole Legacy. Shout out to the king, Cole Legacy. He calls himself the king of crowd work. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And Ben Darso, the guy that I took out for coffee, right? He decided that that's what he wanted to work on. He bombed and ate a bag of dicks for ages until he got good at it. So I was like, I'm going to do the same thing. I fucking was petrified, man. I used to hate crowd work. Now I love it. And Sunday Singles has been a big part of that as well. I don't know if you've seen any of that show. It's fucking wicked, man.
Got to get to it.
It's so funny.
So you're in this, I feel like you're in this hustle phase where you're kind of ascending. I found it so interesting that you know, 15 people versus 200, you're more fearful of the 15.
Bro, if 50% of 200 people laugh, that's 100 people laughing. That's pretty loud.
Yeah, okay.
50% of 15 laugh, that's 7 and a midget. Right? So that's not very loud, man.
No.
And you feel it.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
But
is that what you put it down to? It's just like, because there's less people, you feel like there's more pressure?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I've started to overcome that. Like, I ended up doing gigs. Like, I've done gigs to fucking 4 people before, 6. I've never done a horror, like, 2-person show or one yet. But for Who's Wrong, we had a 6-person show. It was one of the best shows we ever did.
Yeah.
You know, but again, that's freestyle, so it's a bit. But at the Brisbane on a Friday night, I was an MC. I think I had 6 people in the crowd. And I'm like, this is going to be fucked, man. Because if they don't like what you're doing. But it ended up being awesome. So I think you got to drop those perceptions.
Yep.
and just go out and see what happens. That's when I was like shitting it. I was like, I have to crowd work. I have to talk to them. And then I came up with my own strategy, which is what other people do anyway, but talk to them. And if something that they speak about leads into one of your bits, then it looks like you're making it up, but you've got that punchline ready to go.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. The amount of reps you have to do to be able to recall these things, man, I can't even imagine.
Bro, muscle memory.
How many gigs you reckon you've done in your lifetime?
I don't know, man.
Can't even
I
number
couldn't tell
it.
you.
Yeah, right.
Couldn't tell you.
You should have kept it like a body count.
Well, some people do, man. But, I mean, I didn't see the point. I would just gig until I knew the bits. Even now, I've got bits that I've been doing since I very first started, and I still find new shit with it. So no bit's ever dead and done. And it's like, it's magic because it's so fun for me when I think of something that I haven't thought of before, or I do a different facial expression. So it's like,
it's almost like you're constantly like trying to unpick a lock. That
Yeah.
And then once you hit it, it's like a big dopamine hit or something.
Yeah. Well, Fringe just gone. I think I had 120 shows in 5 weeks. Yeah. So that was just 5 weeks of Fringe. The year before was about the same. And then I gig 3 or 4 times a week every year. So whatever that is, 200, 300, 400 a year.
Yeah. So since making that leap, do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you to for me to think, to try to put myself in your shoes?
Yeah.
Like I'd feel like there would be a lot of pressure because you're the only one, you're responsible for your own paycheck.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure there?
Yes and no. I've got a big chunk of savings. So I haven't gone into it without a safety net. So I've got my savings there. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
But I've also got 2 quizzes that I do every week, which is $700 in the bank. So I've got a base. When I took the leap, I had I think 14 weddings in the pipeline, which is coming to the end. So that's anywhere between 1,300 and 2,000 a wedding. So I had a safety net up until now. So coming into June is where I'm like, literally last week I looked at my diary. I was like, fuck, man, I've got nothing in June. I got 1 wedding.
Yeah.
And July I've got nothing, and I'm shitting it. I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do?
Right.
But then as soon as I'm thinking that, bang, I get a gig offer. Bang, I got this. Now I'm full. So
right.
It's just
something you can't really plan for then.
Can't plan for it.
How do you keep yourself like maintained, composed, like knowing that you don't know what's going to happen in 3 months, 6 months? I can imagine during COVID times for comedians, that would have been...
For comics, it would have been rough, but I had I've got diversification, as Warren Buffett would do. Yeah. Because I got marriage celebrancy, I got quiz nights.
Yeah.
So I had other fallbacks.
Right.
So if it was purely just comedy,
you'd be struggling.
Be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
But also I put on my own shows, man. So a lot of people won't hustle and they want a handout, they want to be put on a show. I would fucking do my own nights. So I've went and networked and I put shows on.
Is that where you go out and book a place?
Right, I'll get a room. Yeah.
Sell the tickets.
That's
awesome.
Pay the acts and then keep the rest for myself. So Teacher Comedy Night's a great example of that. So I had an idea 3 years ago. I asked Johnny at the Comedy Lounge if he'd let me put on a show, Teacher Comedy Night. So comedy for teachers. And at the time it was like me and a couple of other comedians that were teachers.
Yep.
Put the first show on. It was 150 people, sold out. It was fucking incredible. I think it was like $15 a ticket and a free drink maybe, or $20. Then I did it again and again. Now I've done like 15. It's at the point where I'm at the record bite now, 300 people, and it's sold out except for COVID times just gone. But luckily there was a grant in place, so I've like covered myself with the grant. But
thank Mark McGowan.
Yeah, well, but like last year, as I was teaching, I was still doing comedy nights, and each Teacher Comedy Night is about 10 grand revenue, and then I got to pay the acts and pay their fees and stuff, and it was still a pretty good chunk in my pocket, and that's something that I've created myself.
Yeah.
So I know I've got that every term.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then Who's Rhyme, and then the Confessional, and then any comedy night I want to put on.
I feel like it's whatever you make of it, hey.
You have to hustle, man.
Yeah, the hustle is something, like when Aaron came on, he talked about the hustle and like hustling in a day and age where there's no social media, where there's, you don't have your own platform. You've got to go out on the street, give out your CDs and put up flyers and stuff like that.
Yeah. No one's going to give you it, man. No one gives a fuck about you.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, no one cares, man. If they're going to make money off you, then sick. They like you, right? But no one's going to be like, hey, man, here, come fuck it. I'll make you famous. No one gives a fuck.
You really got to go out and get it, eh?
100%.
I really like the fact that, before making that leap of faith, you've the strategy you've put in place for yourself is like, all right, I know I'm going to do this. Like you've gone all in on the idea.
Yeah. That's
where the leap of faith has come.
It was fucking scary, bro.
Yeah. And then, but your contingency plan behind that as well. It's like, all right, if I'm not going to stop. If this fails, I won't stop. I'll just pivot.
Yeah.
And that's what I really think is, that's the big lesson I reckon from your story is like just pivoting through tough times.
Yeah.
But still being aligned to that main thing.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Pivot. Literally. Yeah. Diversify and pivot. Like, but also like if you love something, go all in, but have a fucking plan, man.
Yeah.
Have a plan. If you love it enough to want to do it full time, work your way up to it, figure out what you're going to do when it happens, have your worst case scenario, which I did, which was my worst case scenario. If I didn't get any gigs or any weddings, I know I can go back to teaching.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm lucky because I like teaching. It's just when I was doing everything, it's fucked.
Yeah. So you almost had to make that call at some point.
I had to make I was burnt out.
Yeah.
My beard was going grey. I was taking time off work to do other work. It was like, it got too much. And I'm like ADHD as fuck, but like even for me,
that was
like,
too much.
My family was like, man, you're fucking drained. It's too much, man.
How was the opinions of other people?
Pretty positive actually, eh? Except for my grandma and my dad. But Dad came around when he saw my paychecks. He was like, oh, okay, well, maybe there is. And he's like, you're fucking killing yourself. I was like, well, he's like, he was actually more supportive than I thought. And he said, like, if I'm going to quit, then make sure I've always got teaching I can fall back on. But when I showed him what I was earning, then he was like, well, fuck, give it a go. My grandma, on the other hand, she was like, I don't give a fuck. But then I took her to a gig.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like
for Italians, you got to show them the money.
Yeah.
And then for the older people, you show them what you do.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
if people have never been to one, they can't conceptualize a gig.
And
so the amount of people that I've said that have come and saw me do comedy after years of saying, hey, come to a show. They're like, fuck, I didn't realize that's what it was, man. It's awesome. So
that's dope. What do you think has been like the perspective shift from doing comedy, like in life in general? Like what perspective shift have you?
Well, you become more woke, which is fucked. You become hyper aware of what's okay to say and what's not okay to say, which is a bit strange because comedy, you're meant to be able to say anything. But you do become a little bit more aware of, what's politically correct and what's not. But you can almost say anything if the crowd like you. Like teaching, if you win them over, they'll trust you.
Yeah.
And you can say anything if they trust you. If you come out there straight away and you're like, well, fucking Chinese people, let me tell you, all right? But if you have that same joke, but they like you and you can do it in a way where they're seeing it from your point of view, then you're okay. So I guess the perspective shift for that is anything you want to say, you need people to understand your position first.
Yeah.
Make them like you. And
do you think like that comedy perspective that you have, do you think that applies to everything as well?
I always look for shit that's funny, man. Every you should see my notes on my phone. Anytime someone says something, I write it down, try it on stage.
Yeah.
Or someone tells a funny story, or if I come up with a funny story from a chat, put it in my notes, bring it on the stage, man.
Yeah.
Or like now with reels and shit, like it's something that I don't quite like because it takes a lot of time. Yeah, I enjoy doing the skits, but it's like the video editing to promote myself. That's where I need like when I've got a little personal assistant actually, 17. He does some of the stuff that I don't have time for now.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like doing all that stuff that's like the next step, and even videoing my gigs and putting it up. It's time consuming, but it's like
100%.
It's what I need to do if I need to get out there as well as gig.
Travel. Yeah, even stuff like this is podcast stuff is so time consuming.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
we love doing Arvon, man. Hard yarns is so fun. How we look forward to it, but it's all the before and after. That's the bit. So.
Yeah, I love that. It seems like you got so much going on.
Yeah, bro. I've quit teaching, but I work longer hours, man.
Yeah, right.
I've been up since 7 today, and I'm getting home. What time are we at now? Like 8:30ish. Yeah, 8. So
what's next for you? Like where do you want to go?
Literally just got a message. And we got Brad Shepherd from West Coast coming on the potty next week. Next, man. So Edinburgh. So I'm doing Edinburgh Fringe, which is the biggest one in the world. So, and if I was still teaching, I couldn't do that. So I'm going to go there with some Sydney comics and just learn the ropes.
Yeah.
I'm basically back to square one again when I'm over there.
Yeah.
And then when I come back, I'm going to start gigging in other parts of Australia as my next plan of attack. And I really, really my goal is to be on Have You Been Paying Attention?
Oh, yeah.
Love that show. And now that we got the Aussie Would I Lie to You, I want to be on that. Would I Lie to You is one of my favourite shows, the English version. And Have You Been Paying Attention? So
I think those are achievable goals, man.
I want it.
I think you'll get there.
I just need, it's really hard being a straight white male, man, because I'm the minority.
Yeah, right.
So to try and to be the best, you have to be the best straight white male to be in front, because there's heaps of straight white males that do comedy.
Yeah.
So you need to be the best or do something different.
Love that.
So that's the goal.
Awesome, man.
That's the moral of the story.
I was going to ask you that. That was awesome. What would you say thus far is like
the
moral of the story thus far? What do you think?
Moral of the story is, if you want something, fucking planning, goal setting is the most important thing you can do. Because if not, you just float around and you don't know where you're going. So I would just write down my goals that I wanted, and I haven't done it for a while. I'm due to do it now, but what I'm going to do next is put my end goal and then break it down, what I have to do to get there, and then what I can sort of do each week and each day. That's my next thing. But know what you want, figure out how you're going to do it, which is the hard part. But do your first, if you love, me and Branchy, we always say, like, if you loved fucking eating nuggets, figure out a way to make money from eating nuggets, which somebody has. They go out TikToks and now they eat nuggets and they get paid for it. If you like making candles, figure out a way to make candles and get fucking paid for it. So there is a way to get paid for anything. You just need to crack the code, which is usually filming content and sharing it in a different way that no one else has done. But whatever you love, man, set your goal for what you want. Slowly do it. You don't just fucking quit your job and hope for the best. Slowly do it and get to a point where you're making a little bit of money, and then it makes more and more, and then make your safety plan and then take the jump.
I think we leave it there. Delby,
cool.
Thanks so much for joining us, man. Yeah,
thanks.
legend.
It's one of the most serious potties I've done. So
we pull on the heartstring.
Yeah.
We really want to get deep in here. I feel like there's so much out there, and I thought this was missing, like just something that was more real, like not trying to be clickbaity or anything like that. Just
we're
learn
talking
from
about
others.
yourself for so long, man.
It is, I know. But I appreciate you coming on, man. And I'm interested to see
the next step, baby.
The next step. Yeah. See you on channel
10. Fuck.
Love
Fingers
to see
crossed.
you, bro. Yeah, man.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Peace. Cheers.